Good afternoon. It is 1:15. I am just getting up and moving around I was up at like 7:30 just scrolling, but then I went back to sleep and I woke up at 12 and was still just laying here. But then my husband came home for lunch, so now I'm up. I made me some oatmeal and some toast, so I'm about to eat that. Also, I looked over the ornaments that I made yesterday, and they're all pretty good. I want to say the dark, deep silver, the lavender that I used that pourable paint in, and then the which ones was it? The lavender, the deep gray, and I think it was like the was it the metallic? No, the metallic purple came out great. The other purple came out great also. Actually, the other purple are the only ones that like literally dried all the way. So I was able to put the tops on them. But like 6 of them or 9 of them like did this weird thing where like even though I coated them and they were sitting upside down to drain, the part closest to the drain pulled back from the plastic or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take puff paint and make like dots on the outside, and then leave it like that. I can still decorate them and make them look good, or I can leave them how they are. I'll show you guys after I get done eating, so I'll be back. Okay, so on Netflix there is this, I think it's a 4 episode series called Ripple. Oh my goodness, I love stuff like this. So the first episode is called A Stone's Throw, and it starts off by a woman and her little girl who is deaf are talking, and the lady tells the daughter, okay, it's time for you to get your pajamas on, it's time for bed. She's like, well, how will daddy get his present? She goes, you can give it to him tomorrow. But he comes in the door, and she tells her in sign language, daddy's here. So she goes to her dad or whatever and greets him. And then the mom tells the dad, she has a present for you. So she gives the child, the baby, the daughter, gives the dad a notepad shaped like a heart, and it's like lime green color. Hold on one second. Literally something like this. I don't know if I'm the only one, but like I literally see signs and I like really take them into, I I see signs now. I had a whole package of these. I got one in my art room, but like, is that not crazy? Like, I have the exact one. And I kept going back and forth, like, do I want to watch this? Do I want to watch this? And I watched it. Now, from that, the dad also has like this weird cough. And the mom was like, you probably need to go get an antibiotic or whatever. And, he's like blowing it off or whatever. But also with that whole situation, he tells her pretty much that he wants to get a divorce. So then Pan away, he's walking down the street, and this other girl who was up on the roof, she's just looking out on the roof or whatever, reflecting whatever she's reflecting. And she has this rock that she's gonna throw, but she decides not to. She leaves it, or she thought she left it on the like little, I don't know, edge or whatever of the roof. It ends up falling down and hits him on the head, and it draws blood. So a doorman sees it happen, and he's like, "Oh wow, are you okay or whatever?" And gives him a handkerchief. He, taps on his head and sees that he's bleeding. He's like, "Oh man, you probably need to go to the hospital right away. Could be internal bleeding." He's just talking, and dude's looking at him like, "What?" So he's like, "Well, maybe, just maybe go get some stitches or something." So he goes to get the stitches, and he's talking to the doctor. The doctor's like, "Yeah, you just need some stitches or whatever. We'll get you, taken care of." He starts coughing again. He's like, "How long have you had that cough?" He's like, "It comes and it goes." He's like, "Hmm." So then he starts asking him, medical questions and like medical history questions and all that stuff. And he's like, are you a smoker?" And he's like, "No." "Were you a smoker?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay." And so, the guy is talking now and just rambling because now he's like nervous because he's like, "Why are you asking me these questions? And then you writing stuff down?" So then the doctor's like, "You know what? I'm going to also um, get a CT scan of your head just in case because, something falling from the roof, you really never know how much power that has." So while he does the CT for his head, he also does one for his chest and tells him that there's a spot on his left lung. So now he has a reflection going on or whatever. It then pans to another story. So it's like all these different stories um, of people in this one, I guess, town or whatever. Um, so then it pans to this girl who I guess was working at a record company, maybe, I don't know, but she's supposed to be going out looking for talent. And I guess this was the last straw. She didn't go see this one group. She ends up getting fired. Well, she ends up at the rest or the bar where that guy works at. He's like, we're really not open for 30 more minutes. She just comes in. She didn't just got fired. She got her box with her and all that type stuff that she had to clean out her desk. And she just rambling, not really hearing him say, "We're not open yet." She go in. She said, "Oh, I'm not going to be a problem." She sits at the bar. So he's looking at her like, "Okay, am I talking to myself? Because I literally just told you, like." So then she's like, "Yeah, I'll just have a glass of Pinot." And he's looking like, "Okay, my bartender is not here. They will be back." He keeps saying that. And she just like, whatever. So then, I don't know, words go back and forth or whatever. Not mean or anything, but like, she finally admits that she did hear him in so many words say that, we're not open yet or whatever. So he just walks away. Then the story pans to this guy, older guy. I guess it's like, I want to say they're senior citizens. And it did open with their relationship too, because like the lady was like in the park and like was waiting for the husband to meet her or whatever. I guess this is something that they did, and they were making like a um anniversary type deal with it or whatever. So, they were talking or whatever. They were meeting so that they can go to this spot, I guess, that they've been going to for years. And um but then she says, "No, I don't want to go there. Let's go to this other place or whatever." So I guess they end up having fun or whatever. The next day, wake up and she's like, can you give me some pain relievers? I have a really, really bad headache. I probably shouldn't have, drunk 3 glasses of wine or something like that or whatever. But I felt like with her saying it, the way that she said it, I just knew something wasn't right. But it's like, okay, because if he, what I'm saying, was drinking too, even if he didn't have 3, it's like, why, he don't have the same type of thing going on. I get everybody's different. Everybody, body is different, and some people can take more than other people. But like, I'm like, both of y'all are senior citizens, you know what I mean? But okay. So he gives her the aspirin or whatever. She puts it on the side table, and they're just sitting there or whatever. And she's like, oh, I really liked that place we went to yesterday. And so he's like, yeah, it was nice. She's like, we could have a bar like that here at our own house or whatever, like that. And he's like, okay, Miss Adventurous or whatever. He's like, let's just take it easy and just try this retirement thing first or whatever. She's like, okay. So I guess she ends up laying back down and resting while he goes and makes breakfast. Well, the story pans away to another um, story or whatever. It pans away actually at the girl with that was up on the roof. She's in a session, I think, with like a therapist, and she's asking. Well, it showed her sitting on the toilet taking a pregnancy test. So she's in the room with the therapist, and she's talking about how she feels almost inadequate, I guess, because she feels like all her other friends are having babies and they seem like they're happy and all that type of stuff. And she's like, I don't even know if I'm going to be a good mom. Do you think I'm going to be a good mom or whatever? And you know how therapists don't be wanting to give you their opinion. All they can do is like suggest things, I feel like. So the therapist is like, do you think you are going to be a good one or whatever? And then she's like, I forget, she said something. And, the therapist, said what she said. And then the girl kind of was like getting defensive, whatever. And she was like, just never mind that I even brought it up or something like that or whatever. Pans away. So it goes back to the senior citizen. The guy takes a tray to the bedroom, and he's trying to wake up his wife, and she's not waking up. She didn't even take the aspirin. Like, they were still on the table. But she was just laying there, like, yeah, he couldn't wake her up. So I guess he ended up, calling somebody to get her to the hospital, and it doesn't let you hear what the nurse or the doctor says to him, but he's crying. So I think she probably, passed or whatever. I'm not sure yet. I am 18 minutes in, and it's a 24-minute episode. It shows him back at the apartment with like a little bag, and I don't know if it's her stuff or not, but he has a bag, and he's just, looking around the apartment like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? Like, what just happened? Like, life really, like, does not stop. You know what I mean? Like, in a matter of minutes, like, anything could happen, you know? So, now I am, oh no, so then it pans to back to the bar, and this guy, some other guy, I guess he just did a set, meaning he had a guitar and he, performed or whatever at the bar. He goes up to the bar where the bartender is, and she's like, good set or whatever. And he's like, well, this is my last one because I will officially be, doing some other kind of work or whatever. And she's like, no, we were supposed to starve together or whatever, jokingly, but she kind of, I think she still, like, she meant it, but like not in a bad way. So he's like looking at her or whatever. And she's like, I'm sorry, that's not the type of thing that you should say to somebody. You should support them or whatever. He's like, no, I get what you're saying. We did say that or whatever, but but nobody's coming up in here to give me a contract or whatever, so I have to, do what I got to do to survive or whatever. He's like, can I have a piece of paper? So she looks around. She's like, yeah. She ends up giving him that green notepad and a marker, and he writes something on it, gives her back the pad and marker, and he sticks it on his guitar case, and he's like, see ya later, and walks out. So now I am paused on the park. It's an outside park. I see the guitar sitting on a bench, and the girl who is supposedly pregnant is walking up. I don't know if this guy left this guitar purposely on this bench with a note on it that probably said free or whatever. We're gonna see, but that's what I'm thinking is about to happen when I unpause this, and this girl is gonna find it. And I wonder if she can sing. And now I'm rolling, you know what I mean? My mind is rolling. She can sing. That other lady who stumbled into the bar earlier used to be a talent promoter. She gonna find her, like this ripple effect. That's what this is gonna happen. But I don't know how the other people will come into place with it. I love these. I really do. Okay. I'm gonna keep this here for a minute, but I wanted to show you guys those ornaments so you can see what I'm talking about. So hold on one second. Okay, y'all. So this is what I was talking about happened to the ornaments. See how it's pulling apart? And this was the pourable stuff. So maybe this paint is just for canvases. I don't know, and maybe that's why I did it. My husband said he think that maybe something was on the inside that chemically didn't go right with it, but I don't know. And then these are the silver ones. I have some like scotch tape on the bottom keeping these, from rolling or whatever. And then these are the metallic ones. I just cleaned out the newspaper that's stuck to the opening. It kind of seals it, so you have to like go in with like a stick or like a toothpick and take that newspaper seal off and then let it drain off some more. But like what I'm gonna do is let whatever drain this last time, and then I'm gonna put the tops on it. But these right here, these are the ones that I said did pretty good. Like there was nothing left. Like when I picked them up off the newspaper, nothing else was coming out. So these did really, really good. Okay, those are those. My husband was talking about my reindeer here. He was like, so you put the nose in the wrong spot. I said, according to who? And he just like laughed or whatever. I said, don't be talking about Deante. If that's your name, please, I'm not talking about you. I don't even know you. This is my own little story that's going with this. So this is Deante. Deante has been left in the shed or the barn all these years. Santa will not give him a shot at being on the team to go deliver presents. Deante is so sad, and he just doesn't understand how he was not picked and will not be picked, or like why he's getting picked over. So he just sits and waits with hope that maybe one day Rudolph will not be able to do the job and he will be there to be able to do it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyways, here is some things I'm also working on. My husband had some leftover resin, and so these are going to be keychains and whatever else I end up deciding to do with these when they cure. So yeah, that's what I've been doing today. And that's that. So yeah, I am just gonna wait a little bit longer for these white ones and these purple ones to drain a little bit more. I'm gonna pick those up and then clear out the inside and put the tops on it, and that's that. I guess right now what I could also do right now is just go ahead and put those dots on these, or should I just leave them like that? They are really give their own little character. What if I make a marble and I just, no, never mind. I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, yeah, that's that. So I'll be back. All right, these are the designs I came up with. Just something quick. They're DIY, so whatever you're thinking, whatever. But this is what I came up with. Most likely, these probably will be okay, but these lavender ones, maybe this one will be all right. But these two, yeah, I'll probably trash. Maybe. We'll see. So yeah, I'm about to, okay, go back in the room and finish watching this series. Oh, I also got probably one of the two deliveries. Hold on, you guys. I got a delivery from Shein, and oh, I wanted to get the black. Hold on 1 second. Look what I tried to do. I tried to make a face on this one. I gotta add the red lip, but yeah, I tried, but yeah, that's why this one will probably be trashed. All right, so anyways, back to what I was saying about the Shein delivery. I suppose I could put you guys on a tripod, mini tripod, and set you guys up so I can open this package real quick, show you guys what I got. I'm gonna sit down. My feet have been, excuse me, tripping. Like my ankles feel like they're swelling. I don't know. I hope they're not, but it's just been feeling weird. But hold on, let me set you guys up. Okay. Let's see what is in this package. I think I have like 6 things maybe that I am looking for to be delivered. I think it's 6. But what I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is 6. There's 6 in here, and that's crazy because it does not look like 6 things. Okay, so the first thing I got me some clear sandals. What do you mean clear? Literally, like clear. And then it has like a little chunky heel. So let's see how this goes. I think these will go with pretty much everything. Or at least with stuff that I don't have shoes for. So I'll try those on in a little bit to make sure they feel okay. And let's see, this is, oh, I ordered a butterfly jewelry display for like putting earrings on it, maybe like my events. However, it said clear. It did not look like this type of clear when I ordered it. Is there something on here like a film that I'm supposed to pull off? I don't know, but yeah, I was expecting this to literally be clear, like that clear part in those heels. It'll be okay, because, you know, it's butterfly, but like, and then I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. Read everything in those descriptions, y'all. All right. I got a purple clutch. This is pretty nice. I thought this was going to be just a little bit bigger too, but it's okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. And you know, this actually matches those purple heels that I got. So that's cool. Look at that. Perfect. So this could go with that leopard outfit. Not leopard, but that leopard and purple flower dress that I told you guys I didn't like my midsection. But this definitely matches that whole outfit. So I guess I just have to get my crunches on and get rid of my midsection so I'll be more comfortable wearing that dress. Or figure out, I don't know, something else. I don't know. But I'm happy that that matches those shoes. That's cool. All right. Purple. What is this? Oh, this is the purple tank top. It's supposed to be like a faux leather. This is not. This is, I don't know what this fabric is. And it looks huge, right, you guys? Oh my goodness. This is supposed to be a 1X. We'll see how it looks on. And I gotta wash it too. It has a smell. All right, next. So remember that lavender top that I had to that I was gonna match up with that clutch. So I got the white one. So I got the lavender one and the white one. So this could probably end up going with that those pink pants. Told you guys I wanted a white shirt or a white top. And then I could put like a white tank top maybe inside of it. I don't know. And then last but not least, I believe this is the only thing. I'm gonna have to go to my paper and see if everything checks off, if I got everything. Because it said that the delivery is supposed to be completed by the 14th. So we'll see. But, and then this is like a purple type of cover sweater. And it has these cute bows on the sleeves. And this could go with those black earrings that I showed you guys on that one Shein haul I did. That they were like black earrings and they had like a bow and then a heart. Those would go perfect with that, with some black jeans or whatever. So yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I just gotta go back and see if I got everything. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna do it right now. 1 second. All right, y'all. Well, that looks like everything on my list that I was supposed to get. So, all right, I'm gonna try on these shoes and see how these tops fit and put them in my hamper. Whew, I had to take my pre-chemo med today. So I'm like a little gaggy. I think I'm gonna start. Hopefully it doesn't tonight, but we'll see if like the nausea starts. So yeah, tomorrow is session number 3. And then supposedly it's one more session after that, unless they add more. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I was working on this morning the present that I have to send off in a couple days. Hopefully it dries by then. I'm looking at, well, when I tried to make like this little print with this stamp, it ended up sliding. So now I'm trying to fix it to where, yeah, I can't show you because it's going to be a present. But I'm going to try to make a separate video so that when I do send it out and when the person gets it, then I can post that video then. Maybe that's what I'll do. Because it's very cute. But, yeah, I'm trying to fix it right now. So, yeah, okay. I'm gonna put that or fix that, let that dry, and then continue to watch this show. And I'll come back and let you guys know what's going on as usual. I don't know. Do you guys like when I like reiterate or like come back and narrate the way that I do with these like shows that I watch? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, y'all. So I am done with the first episode. So the senior citizen guy, his name is Walter. At his wife's funeral, a lady approached him and introduced herself as someone who knew his wife through some kind of, I guess, counseling program, I think. Or no, maybe it was a church. So, she just, told him about a counseling place that he could go to, talk about the grieving and all that stuff or whatever. He had shot it down, but he still, thought about it in his mind. And, she just, kept on giving him words of encouragement. And she gave him this line that said, "What doesn't bend breaks." I love that. That is awesome. So he, thought about the words or whatever, walked away or whatever. He went to the bar. The bar is actually the bar of the guy who I believe has lung cancer. He's also the father of the little girl who is deaf. The person also who is was thinking about filing for divorce or whatever. This is the guy. He is the manager or the owner of that bar. Didn't get his name yet. I'm trying to get everybody's name. So Walter goes to the bar to continue to do the, thing that him and his wife did. Um, and he ends up ordering this glass of wine. It was the last glass of wine that his wife had ordered. So he ordered that. Um, and then he goes into the bathroom or whatever, ends up coming across the owner trying to fix a faucet or whatever, and Walter, helps him or whatever, lets him know, I know how to fix stuff or whatever, but whatever. So they just, introduce each other and, whatever. So then he goes back out and he is done with his meal and he starts to, walk away or whatever. And the bartender starts singing some song, and in the song is the same line. What doesn't bend breaks, what doesn't bend breaks. And Walter's like, the hell? Like, what? So his wife has to be like talking through him or like talking to him. I feel like through spirit or whatever. I don't know. So um then the lady who had lost her job, she ends up coming across the girl who is pregnant. Again, remember I told you that I had paused it where the girl was like walking in the park and she came across a bench with a guitar on it. The note on the guitar said, "Take me, I'm yours." So the guy left that there for somebody to take, and she came across it. And she does have a very beautiful voice. I knew it. She sings. Well, she used to sing a long time ago, but I guess, I don't know, something happened to where she stopped doing it or whatever, but she still does it on her own time or whatever. So that lady who had lost her job comes across her and tells her about how that bar has open, um, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like, but they have like live music or whatever. So she tells her, you should come and you should sing. She's like, whoa, I have never sung, I haven't sung in a long time or whatever. She's like, well, you might as well get back out there. Tells her that she was a music exec, but then she's like, no, I am a music exec, like that. She's like, you should come, to this bar and you should sing. So she's like, I don't know. She gave her the information, was like, I'll see you there. You know what I mean? And she's like, still hesitant or whatever, but she's like, you know what? Like, why? Like, what will it do? You know what I mean? So now she's outside this bar, at the door, hesitating and thinking about should she go in or not. Girl, go up in there. My thing is, when her and the lady was talking, they had went back to the girl's apartment because the lady had fell when she was jogging, and so she was helping her with her wound or whatever. In comes her husband, the girl who was pregnant. The husband was at the bar, I think the night before, with a whole nother female, and the music exec saw him, but she couldn't picture where she knew him from. But she was like, have we met before? And he's like, at some business thing or whatever. She's like, no, like that. So she's not thinking about it, but it's gonna come back to her. So back at the bar, she's outside thinking about if she should come in or not. I hope she go up in there, and I hope that mug comes up in there and with that girl, and ooh wee, because she has been holding herself back, it seems like, because of him. He probably told her that you don't need to work, or, you know, whatever, to have as much power over her as he needs to while he doing his fucking dirt. Excuse my English. But I think that's what that is. Her mom even called her and was like, hey, I have a music friend at a school that needs a music assistant or a music teacher or whatever. Like, what do you think? And she's like, Mom, I know I need to work or I need a job, but like, I live here and, he's taking care of things and all that type of stuff or whatever. Excuse me. So that's that. I think Walter is also like he has, like, he was walking in the park and he found the stone, this infamous stone. Like, everybody keeps coming across the same stone. The stone that hit the guy in the head. The stone that, that fell off the roof but hit the guy in the head. The stone that I think the girl who's pregnant, I think she had picked it up at, no, she didn't. Walter picked it up. And when he picked it up, all of a sudden, like, the sun starts beaming on his face, and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like dark and gloomy, and then all of a sudden the sun starts, warming his face. I feel like that was his wife. Um, he dropped the stone, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then it was like he ended up coming back across to that lady that had told him about the, I'm probably all over the place, but, like, I'm just telling you, like, what I saw. But, like, he came back across the lady who had, gave him the grievance counseling information and all that stuff. And then he asked her to have wine with him at the bar or whatever. So he's waiting to see if she's going to, come into the bar. He still told her, my wife did the church thing. I haven't done it in a while. Like, it just wasn't for me or something like that. And she's like, I'm not judging. Like, you know what I mean? I just gave you the information. Like, you do what you, want with it or whatever. Yeah. So now we are at, I don't know what this is, but I just see like a foot in a dark type of alley or something. This episode is called Drip, Drip, Drip. But I'm not sure what, this looks kind of weird. I don't like how this looks. It looks kind of like it's going to be a problem. But, like, we'll see. I hope you guys, again, are loving this. I'm trying my best to, like, narrate it in order, or like near the order of like how I'm seeing it or whatever. But again, what it is called Ripple, and it's on Netflix. I think it's like 4 episodes. So I'm on episode 2. This episode is 41 minutes, but like I'm 45 seconds into it. So yeah, I'm trying to fix this this thing that I had messed up, and I think I have fixed it. Hopefully I fixed it. So damn, I'm wondering now if I should, oh shoot. Okay, I'm gonna leave it because I don't want to mess it up anymore. But yeah, I will be back. All right, y'all. So I'm trying my best to keep it in order, but I don't think it's gonna be in order. So I'm just gonna tell you what happened. So right now, as I paused it, the girl who is pregnant, her name is Aria. Her husband's name, I believe, is John. He is, I believe, a teacher, it sounds like, or a professor or something. They are at the bar. Aria has decided to go ahead and play at the bar. When she did not go into the bar the first time, she ended up going to her mom's house. I guess that was her comfort. She was feeling some type of way. So now she's back. She's at the bar. She's about to play. Before that, the owner, his name is Nate. Nate comes in. He has just had his first chemo session. So he's come into the bar, and the bartender, I can't remember her name yet, but she introduced Nate to Aria, told him, oh, you need to meet Aria. He heard her name from the other lady the record exec. I got to get her name too. So he knew her name right away because that lady had called him and was like, "Can Aria play tonight?" So now he has met Aria, and then he sees John. He goes, "Oh, I know you." And John's looking like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, you always come in with the students all the time." He goes, "Oh, well, they come in more than I do." So now he got this, he in his head like, "Oh shit, like I'm about to get found out that I was cheating." So Nate kind of like chills it, but he's like, "Yeah, mm-hmm." So now he's like all babe with Arya, he didn't gave Arya his, Arya was about to go up on stage. She's nervous and walked away from the guitar. So he's like, "Babe, here, you forgot this or whatever." Mind you, when Arya did not show up the first time, John was talking to the record exec about asking her how she got his wife Aria to play for him because she hasn't done it in a long time. And she's like, "Well, she didn't want to, but I just have this way of getting people to do things and get out of their mind or whatever." Whatever. He's like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, I'm glad she, had somebody to talk to or something like that or whatever." He's like, um, things haven't been the best, and I tried to be there for her, and but all she had on her mind was that she wanted us to have kids, and I wasn't ready for it, but something, whatever. But it was like all this complaining, but at the same time trying to act like he was supportive. But then in the back of the whole situation, your mug butt has been cheating, maybe emotionally or whatever, with this other girl. So we at the bar now. That's that. Walter has been just out on an outing with the lady. I'm gonna get her name. I'm gonna get her name. The lady from the church, who is also has came out to him and told him that she had a wife who also passed away. But so they just cool or whatever. I thought it was gonna be something romantic, but then when she said that, I'm like, okay, no, she's really just trying to be there for him as a friend or whatever, and also, because they have something in common. So Walter was at the house trying to get the password or get the um, laptop going because his wife had put all the passwords on there and like all the stuff with like the bills and everything. His water got cut off at the house because he didn't pay the bill. He can't pay the bill because he doesn't have the password to the account. So he couldn't find the charger to charge the laptop. So he ended up calling the friend to come over and help him. She took him to a computer store or whatever to get a new charger. So they've just been out having fun or whatever, enjoying each other or, enjoying whatever, the day and all that. But he has also new interests. No, he doesn't. Take that back. When they were in the park, they were walking, and it ended up being this like couple that reminded him of him and his wife that walked past him, and he kind of like got a little sad. But his friend was like, no, it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna see things like that, but you just gotta, keep your mind positive or whatever, um, and then think of good times or whatever. I think that's what she said. So then, going back, Nate was at the hospital waiting for his first session, and um, I already said he had got the call from the record exec asking if Aria could play at his place. Also, while he was sitting there was a little girl who also has cancer, and she was sitting there waiting for her dad to get her schedule of when she was going to start her chemo. So she was kind of like talking to Nate, and he was just in talking back to her or whatever, because he has a daughter, but the daughter's a little younger and she's deaf. So the little girl was just talking to him, and they're going back and forth, just joking or whatever. But then he ends up getting a video call from his daughter, and so he's signing to her, talking to her, and the other little girl is like just watching him and listening. And so he told his little girl that because she asked, he said, I'm getting medicine because daddy has a cough, like that. And so the other little girl's looking like, what? Like that. So he's talking to her a little bit, and then he tells her, okay, I have to go, like that. Hangs up with her. So then the little girl was like, so why did you lie to your daughter? He goes, I didn't lie. She said, you told her you had a cough. He goes, I do have a cough. She said, you also have cancer. He goes, well, she said, how old is your daughter? He goes, 6. She goes, I'm sure there's a way that you can tell her without it being scary. He goes, how old are you? 8 years old? She goes, no, I'm 9. He goes, yeah, going on 60 or something like that. She goes, my mom talks to me like a baby sometime, and I hate it. She goes, you can talk to me. I think I'm old enough to understand a lot more than people think, or something like that. So she's sitting there, whatever, and he's thinking about things that she's saying or whatever. And then her dad comes, and he's like, okay, I have your schedule, let's go. So she goes, do you want some candy or something, or some snacks or something like that? And like when she had first got to the hospital, and they was just like looking around or whatever, the nurse was like, okay, I'm going to show you something, but don't tell anybody. And she opens up this cabinet, and he has like all this snacks and stuff in it. And I guess she must have told her, take what you want. So she had a book bag full of stuff or whatever. So she's like, what would you, asking Nate, what would you like? He's like, oh my God, like, where'd you get that from? So he's like, I don't want, I'm trying not to eat sugar or something like that. She goes, why? She goes, you're already sick. You might as well indulge, or something like that. So she just gave him like one little candy bar or something like that. And she's like, okay, bye. So that's that. Let's see. So when it first came on, this episode, remember I told you I saw a foot in like a dark alley or something like that. So it was actually like a construction or like an engineer type person. He was down in like a tunnel, I guess, and he's supposed to like inspect like the pipes and stuff or whatever. And so he's down there, and I guess he's doing his job, but then he gets a phone call. And on the phone call, you hear a lady saying, my water broke, my water broke. And like, he's like, it's like going in and out or whatever. He's like, I can't hear you. What are you saying, like that? I'm yelling at the TV like, man, go up so you can get, so you can hear what she's saying, even though I heard what she said, what she said. But I'm like, go upstairs. And he's like, I can't hear you. And I'm like, oh my God. So then finally, I guess the phone comes back in to where she's like, my water broke. You need to come, or something like that. He's like, wait, what? What? And I'm like, oh my God. So he's like, okay, I'm coming, or whatever. And he runs off. As he's running off, going back up, all of a sudden the camera pans to the pipes. They start jiggling and rattling and stuff. And then all of a sudden the pipe bursts. So that was, I guess that's why it's called drip, drip, drip. I don't know. Because at Walter's house, before he left to go to the store with the friend, his faucet was dripping too. So then at the hospital, some of the wings are getting shut down because the pipes burst under the city, I guess, and it like, went into businesses or whatever, messing up stuff. Lord, it's crazy, but I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this series. Okay, let's see. Aria, when she went to her mom's house, she the mom was like, is that a new guitar? She's like, yes and no. She's like, I found it. Somebody left it on a bench in a park. It had a note on it that said, take me, I'm yours. So I did. So her mom's like, okay, I guess that's a good deal or something like that. So then they start talking or whatever. And Aria, I guess, has always had questions about who her dad was or whatever, because I guess he passed before she was born or something like that. And the mom never wants to talk about him. But the mom did tell her that, he used to play instruments or whatever. I don't know what happened, but she's like, Mom, why is it every time I talk about him or I want to talk about him, get upset or something or whatever and never want to talk about him? Like, what is that? So she's like sitting there or whatever. And then finally she's like, sits down and she's like, okay, let's talk. And so, I don't know. It's got to be something with music or something like that that came between maybe her mom and her dad. I don't know. Hopefully they'll get into it, but I don't know. So, let's see. Um, John, Aria's husband, was in a coffee shop getting a coffee, and the side chick comes in. She's like, hey, what's going on? Like that. And he's like, oh, nothing. I just needed a break or something like that. And she's like, yeah, but like, what's going on with us or something like that? And he's like, I guess he said nothing or something, or I'm just, I don't know what he said. I forget. I'm sorry. So, she's like, I've been getting so many compliments about the bracelet that you got me for my birthday. It's so awesome or something like that. And he's like, it wasn't a big deal. She's like, yeah, but I told you that I liked, um, what did she say? Something about like the stars and stuff or whatever, because it was like moons and suns and whatever charms on the bracelet. And he's like, just sitting there. She's like, nobody just does that or whatever. And it's not a big deal or something like that. So he's just like looking at her like, he's looking at her like he wants to tell her, I think, that it was a bad idea to start doing stuff with her, because now he's trying to really get back into um, caring or like being back with his wife or whatever, the way he should have been or should have stayed. And she's like looking like, okay, so now you just finna just dump me or whatever, like all this. I really feel like she about to be a problem. Like she's probably gonna end up coming to this bar in a minute and it's about to go down, because like she just had this look on her face like, oh no, you're not finna just do something, you know what I'm saying, be like into me and then all of a sudden not, but we'll see. Trying to think what else. um the record exec is at another company. I think they just hired her as an exec at their company, so now she's back to like trying to find all kinds of talent or whatever. I don't know. um I think that might be it. I think that might be it for now. So we'll see. I am 34 minutes 12 seconds in and 7 minutes and 40 remaining. So I'll be back. Okay, so Nate and his estranged wife. The reason why they are getting a divorce, it seems, is because I guess she has always been the, I don't know how to say it, but like they just had a argument over how the daughter's school called him and said that a payment didn't go through. And he found out that the reason why it didn't go through was because the wife took the money and bought some like lotions and stuff from some kind of company, like she was gonna use it to make extra money. Mind you, she's a nurse. So, and she didn't want to tell him like what happened with the money or whatever. She felt like she was going to use that hustle money to get back on track and even more so that, they wouldn't have problems with money or something like that. But like she did, she could have just told him what she did with it. Um, and then he's like, I'm already stressed out with running my bar and hoping that I can pay my employees throughout the year. Also, stressed out with the fact that he has a sickness and he doesn't even know how to tell their 6 year old about it. And, he's like, and then now I have to, come up with this money all over again to make sure that, their baby can stay in this school or whatever. So she's like, trying to apologize or whatever. She's also trying her best to like be nice and like help him with like getting kind of special treatment at the hospital for his chemo and all that stuff. And he's appreciative for it, but at the same time, he's like, but I don't want it to have any strings attached. Like, he really does not want to be with her no more. But he's trying his best to like be cordial and like so they can co parent. But she's like wanting more, and he's like, you're not getting it. So he just, she asking him about, when's his next, time to go and all this type of stuff. And he like didn't want to tell her, but he like ended up telling her. But he was like, I don't want you to be there. Like, I don't tell you stuff because I don't want you to be there. And so she's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just be your punching bag. Like, don't do the manipulation shit. He's like, I'm just letting you know. Like, this is what it is, and you need to respect it. I think he's falling for the executive. That's what I think, and she'll probably be there, but he don't want this estranged wife to be there. I think he didn't just had it with her. And then like when it first came on, like this episode 3 is called The 20. This episode started off by some guy like running to his car, and he ends up getting there a little too late to where the meter maid put a ticket on his car, and he's upset. So then he's walking away. He ends up bumping into this kid, and he, apologizes to the kid or whatever. The kid's walking maybe to school or from school. He stops at a cart, and he's buying himself a pretzel, or was trying to. But when he goes to give the guy the money to pay for his pretzel, which is I guess a $20 bill, it ends up flying out of his hand into the wind. So I guess that's why it's called the 20. But I'm pretty sure this 20 is going to come into play throughout this episode, just like that stone did. So we'll see. Okay, y'all. This is going to be the last insert or whatever, and I'm going to close this out. So I don't know if this is going to be if this is the last episode. I'm on episode 4. I'm pretty sure that it said 4 episodes, but the last episode showed where Nate, the bar owner, he ends up going to his first treatment. I thought he had did it already, but he ends up going to his first treatment, and he asks Chris, who is that executive. Her name is Chris. So he didn't ask her to go, but because of how she is, she ended up inviting herself to go with him to the treatment. So they're in the treatment room, and he's, joking back and forth with the little girl. Her name is Finn. And so they're all in there, just like, passing the time or whatever, trying to make the best of the situation. And then all of a sudden, his wife ends up going and looking. She ends up stopping because she looks in the window and sees that Nate is sitting next to Chris. And then she pans over, and for some reason, Finn looks out the window, and Finn right away puts two and two together, but she didn't say nothing. So the wife, runs off or whatever. So, and what's crazy is before the wife came there, she was at home and she gets a knock at the door. The knock at the door is Nate's mom. She tells Nate's mom about how they're separated, but did not tell her that her son is sick. So Nate is, well, the mom is like trying to figure out like, where's Nate? Why is it so quiet here? Whatever. She's like, well, their daughter is at school. And then she lies and tells the mom, oh, Nate is at a wine vineyard or something for the bar or something like that. And she's like, that's weird because he doesn't drink or something like that. She's like, okay, whatever. So then that happened to where she goes and then she ends up seeing that, there's another woman. So the mom ends up calling him and, is asking him or telling him, hey, I'm in town, I want to see you or whatever. And, he has to come up with something or whatever. But he ends up getting off the phone with her. Walter has a flashback of how his late wife used to like be cleaning up, and he had this bucket of like, that was like full of coins, and she stubbed her toe on it at one point. Or at one time, and he went to go comfort her or whatever. And so he still had that bucket while he was sitting there and, just thinking about her or whatever. So then it happens again to where this same guy is running around the corner trying to get to his meter so he doesn't get a ticket again. But this time he doesn't get a ticket and his meter is not expired. He looks down the street, and here is Walter with that bucket of coins, putting coins in all the meters that are expired so that people don't get tickets. So sweet. So then Walter ends up with one last coin, and he goes to a fountain, and he makes a wish. It doesn't say yet what he wished for, but that is so awesome. But before he did that with the coins, he was walking down the street. He ends up finding that $20 bill that everybody was trying to catch. But well, he ends up getting it, but it has like a rip down the middle. So he goes to a store and asks if he could just have, a nicer $20 bill. And the cashier is like, oh, I don't have any 20s, but I do have 2 rows of coins. And he kind of stops and he's like, what? Like the signs. So he ends up taking the coins. And then that's when it goes to him walking down the street with the bucket. What else? John, the cheating husband, is at the house. Well, before he gets to the house, he is at work and he tells that girl that he was cheating with that they can't see each other no more. She's not taking it very well, but she like is not going off, but you can tell like something's going to come from it because like it's not looking like she likes the rejection. So what she does is she sends the bracelet that he gave her to his house with a note on the back of it that said, I'm returning this because I don't want to invade boundaries or something. Because he said something about that when he told her they can't see each other no more. So at the same time he is looking at this bracelet coming out the envelope, his wife sits next to him. She's like, what's that? This mug has the nerve to give her the bracelet, telling her that it was a gift for her. Oh my God. Like, what is wrong with people to where you lie once and you got to keep lying to lie for the first lie, and then you got to lie for the second lie. You just keep going. And then going back to Nate's mom, when she was talking to the wife at the apartment, the wife was like, oh, that's a pretty ring. The ring ended up at some gallery or something that she works at. and somebody brought it in there and sold it to the gallery. And then she, I guess, either just kept it or she bought it from the gallery. The ring is John's wife, Aria's ring, because she had left it when she went into a bathroom and washed her hands. Nate's mom gives the ring to Nate's estranged wife. So I'm wondering if at some point Nate's wife is going to come across Aria, and Aria is going to see that ring on her finger and ask her where she got it from. Lord have mercy. This is crazy. Okay. Well, I thank you guys for watching. If you've gotten this far, could you put some purple hearts in the comments? I would really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe, and send me nice, positive wishes and luck for my third session tomorrow. Thank you so much. I hope I'm still helping people with my journey. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. I will show you guys how the purple looked. I put some of the ornaments on the tree. I'll show you guys in the daytime how it looks. But thanks again. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye.